So my buddy bought a Mazda Miata NB1 1999 with the fixed headlights, and there's a generation after that, the NB2. His door had some damage to it, and we found a color matched door on Craigslist for $150. But he has the NB1, and the NB2 door is slightly different. There are some variations from the door panel to internal parts and so on. Could not find anything on the internet at all that told me what to change and what to do. So I thought, why not make a video now that the door is almost complete and walk somebody else through it. It's pretty simple, but if you don't have a general guideline, there is some time wasted trying to figure out what goes where, what you have to change, what you don't have to change. So this video will clear all that up for you guys. It's gonna be a very nice day today here in Michigan. Blue skies and sunshine. However, last night it snowed here a little bit. So hopefully as the sun moves over, it's gonna be a little bit nicer.
What, just a good old chop?
Just a good chop. Play. So this is the car that my friend picked up, and I've been helping him work on it. It's a 1999 Mazda Miata MX-5 NB1, and that is the door that we swapped onto the car from the NB2. So this is the original door to the car, and he had hit a deer, or a deer hit him, however you want to put it, and it had dented this all in, which then, you know, visually the lines looked fine, but it was tweaked just enough to where the striker, which used to be there, was not allowing the door to open. So what I had done is drilled holes out and slide hammered the dent out to bring the door kind of back to its original structure, and the door opened just fine. Also, the mirror was damaged on it too, so the new door included a mirror, which worked out well for us. I'm gonna walk you through a few things that are different on the door. First of all, the handle mount location is different. So the handle on the NB1 door is slightly more inward than on the NB2 door. So although you have this mounting piece right here on the other door, if you mount it to that piece on the other door, the actual hard lines for the lock and handle will not function properly because of the dimensions. You can adjust them and stuff, but then it also won't fit with the door panel from the NB1. So that was important. On the actual car itself, here is how far we are right now. Door panel's on. This is my next move, is you can see that little Sharpie dot right there. That's how far I have to drill into the NB1 door handle mount to allow it to bolt up to the actual NB2 door. Now, other than that, everything else fits up pretty good. There's one mounting piece in here that I still have to do, and that is inside the door. We're gonna remove this door panel. It's not fully mounted up, so it should be fairly easy. Slide up and off. So some of the major differences on the door panel visually is they did not have these little accent marks that they do have here. This is NB2 door panel, NB1 door panel. Another difference is this little perforated leather piece, which again, NB2, NB1. They also moved the door handle placement on the actual structure of the door, so you have to slide that over. The speaker setup is the same on the inside, however visually it's different on the outside. The tweeters are the exact same. It's salvageable, and put this on the new door because you're going to lose your locking function if you have a different cylinder than the key is for the car. here's the chrome handle I was talking about. This was not used. However, the lines that connect to this, the hard metal lines, we did use those. And the actual door lock actuator, motor and mechanism, where the striker hits in there and locks and unlocks, that we had to change out as well. Also, save this piece of plastic, this weather guard that goes on the inside of the door. It's not just to keep your inside of your door pretty, it has a function. If this butyl tape doesn't fully seal on the door, you can have problems with it leaking inside the interior of the car, getting harnesses wet and the floor gross and rotted and smelly. So you definitely want to keep that. And use a heat gun when you're reapplying it to get all the butyl tape to seal again. This little mechanism right here is crucial to having your door unlock, lock, and open. If these aren't aligned properly, your door's not going to open. They have to be at a certain angle, and this bracket helps them achieve that angle. I basically just took a piece of aluminum, cut it to size, and then shaped it to the exact shape as this door, where it goes flat, slopes, flat. And then I used this point as a measuring point for the new hole that I had to drill. So if you look, it's a little bit off-centered. I took exact dimensions last night when I was doing it. And that's about how far over you have to go. Granted, you might have a different bracket style or sheet metal or something of that nature, but generally speaking, it's just a little to the left of it. This is the black piece that pivots this brass piece and allows your door to unlock and lock and open. So I still have a little more work to do. I have to cut out here a little more for this. When it slides over to the right, you don't want that bend to hit the door. So I have to cut that a little bit more with a Dremel, and I have to shave a little bit of that off to make this mount up properly with that hole. Also bend this tab because you're not going to be reaching that point. The harness for the NB2 door is different from the NB1. So you want to remove the NB2 door harness, which has a different style clip. The other one has a push button, this one has a pull. Remove that and replace it with your original one so you can have all your electrical functions working properly. This difference between the two and swapping them over is this little piece. This is a bracket that sits inside the door like this, in this orientation, and then has a mounting bolt that goes through there, and you can see it right down in there. So this goes, how's it go? This goes this way on the door underneath, and then you have a little hole through there to mount the screw or bolt. And if you look on this door, there is no spot for that to be mounted to. So you can use this, you don't have to. It'll help to have it support the door, but I think personally there's enough little pieces of hardware and clips that hold it in. So if it's easy, we're gonna put it on there. If not, we're just gonna ditch it. But this is the original location of where that piece goes on the NB1 door. It goes right there. So if you look where the door handle hole is, right below it, there's another plastic clip. And when you look on here, you have this one kind of offset to the left. So that is different. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this door lock actuator, motor, and mechanism has different lines. These are like bike brake lines, basically. They're not hard lines, they're bendable, and they're different than the other ones. This point is extended and different length, thus why you have to change the door handle and remount it. That's different. That was the NB2. NB1 has these hard lines. I just want to make note of that again, the difference between the two. You won't be able to have it function properly using the NB2 lines on an NB1. And there it is for the door handle. Bend that tab down, drill a hole a little further over here, just extend this slot, and boom, it's mounted up. Also, trimmed off a little more of that. You can tell it's not interfering. Beautiful. And then this bracket, that's pretty much the gist of the hard work. And ladies and gentlemen, I have lied to you. There is one more thing. So, yeah, that's a problem. That is interfering as well. So where you see this square little cutout, that's where you need to trim some off as well. I'm just gonna kind of round it up to that square piece. Yeah, you don't want these interfering with any structural metal because it will bind these up and either break your lock over time or you just won't be able to open it at all. So be sure to cut that little section off as well, which I am about to do. Here is the final last cut, is that little piece of metal. And now everything works as it should and no interference. Also, when removing the door handle, one bolt. There's an access hole right here, and that helps majorly. At first I didn't notice it, and I was trying to fit a 10 mil on a ratchet up through here, and these were in the way, and it was just annoying. So yeah, there's an access point right here, which I did not notice before. Time to put the door panel back on. And I just keep lying to you guys. All right, one last thing. This is the NB1 door handle beauty piece. I don't know what you want to call it, but this little piece has a tab on the back that can no longer be used. So cut it off, snip it off with some wire snips, get it out of there. It's got to go because it will sit crooked inside of there if you don't. In addition to that little tab, I did shave down this plastic slightly because if you look inside of here, you're going to have some interference with this piece not sitting flush, and it just doesn't sit right. So you got to knock that down a little bit and it sits totally flush. So I livened up the butyl tape with a heat gun, and on the lower parts where it was leaking before, I used a little bit of rubbing alcohol, agitated the dirt, wiped it clean, and then just kind of massaged it to where it would break the top layer to get to the stickier inside layer of the butyl tape. You could replace the seal. They sell butyl tape by the roll, but we're just doing this for time's purpose. There it is, completely done, fully functioning, mounted and all. It fits perfect like the NB2 door does, and it's mounted up enough to where it's not coming off. That one little screw inside here I did not put in. There's tons of clips all along the bottom, and then one big one right there, two there, one there. So it's not going anywhere. We're good. I have never made a YouTube video before. I've watched quite a few of them, a lot of instructional car videos per se. So I think I covered everything pretty well. If you have any questions, comment below and I'll try to help you, with whatever you need on the door swap.